Dear students, today we are going to discuss on the very important theme, that's concept and nature of intelligence. The main objectives of today's lecture include to understand concept of intelligence, to know about how different researchers have conceptualized intelligence, to know the historical background of intelligence, to understand the nature of intelligence, to understand the characteristics of intelligence. Concept of intelligence. Since the beginning of 20th century, intelligence construct has witnessed a huge amount of attention from the research community and becomes one of the most important variable and highly debated topic in the domain of psychology. The term intelligence is derived from the Latin verb intelligere, which means acquire, process, and storage of information. As per this definition, intelligence remains restricted to academic intelligence and represents cognitive abilities such as solving problems and thinking processes. Hampshire in 1991, he conceptualized intelligence as a biological entity which is manifested through behavior and that goes beyond normal thinking capacity. Apart from this, intelligence accounts for some individual differences in behavior and on which individuals vary from one another. It is pertinent to mention here that as intelligence provides explanation for some differences in individuals' behavior, and in this sense it is a quantitative concept like height and weight, but unlike height and weight, intelligence cannot be touched, directly observed or measured physically, so it is subject to various interpretations. In other terms, intelligence can be defined differently by different people on different parameters. The concept of intelligence is controversial, complex, and at the same time difficult to define, but generally it is understood as a mental capacity which involves ability to understand complex ideas, to deal with environmental challenges, to manage everyday affairs, to learn from the past experiences and overcome the obstacles and solve problems effectively. Intelligence has been operationalized differently by different psychologists, and it's commonly believed that intelligence comprises ability and capacity to learn from previous experiences, to think rationally, acquirement of knowledge, and utilization of available resources efficiently, to solve a problem and to adapt to environment they live in. Similarly, TOWAS in 2005 mentioned that intelligence behavior is a complex adaptive entity that enables organisms to deal and adapt with environmental and situational demands. Other researchers like Ruhul in 2020 narrated that intelligence is conceptualized as a higher level ability, abstract reasoning, decision making, solving problems, emotional knowledge, capability to learn, creativity, and adoption to meet the requirements of environment with the utilization of inherited abilities and learned knowledge and experiences. Many psychologists like Vygotsky gave importance to culture while conceptualizing intelligence, and stressed intelligence includes characteristics and skills valued by one society in which one lives and ability to survive in their respected cultures. For instance, Western societies emphasis on personal, individual achievements and individualism, and non-Western societies values self-reflection and collectivism while operationalizing intelligence. Besides, intelligence is mostly studied in humans, but this phenomenon has also been found in non-humans such as animals and even in plants. For instance, Trivovas in 2005, he mentioned that plants are considered as intelligent on the basis of their ability to sense and respond to external and internal environment, as well as their ability to adjust their morphology and physiology accordingly to ensure self-preservation and reproduction, etc. Apart from non-humans, intelligence could be registered in machines in the form of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Zajankowski and Gignac in 2021, he suggested that intelligence is one of the core concepts in modern societies and considered it as highly beneficial, autonomous, as well as desirable entity. In addition, Zajankowski et al. In 2021 highlighted that general intelligence is a significant determinant of educational, academic achievement, successful work career, income, health, and long life expectancy, and many other life achievements. Zajankowski and Gignac in 2021 further mentioned that perception of one's intelligence, known as self-assessed intelligence, SAI, has many psychological outcomes and has significant correlation with performance across various settings, well-being, and even psychological and academic adjustment. In line with this, other researchers also conceptualized human intelligence as a general mental ability which encompasses facets like reasoning, learning, and problem solving, and assimilation of various cognitive activities and functions such as perception, attention, memory, and language, etc., and predicts various social outcomes such as educational achievement, job performance, health, and longevity. Karthikeyan in 2021 narrated that intelligence in humans is intellectual capability characterized by complex cognitive functions, high-level motivation, and self-awareness. The author further indicated the intelligence accounts for cognitive abilities which play a central role to form concepts, to learn, to think it critically, and apply logic, to comprehend well, to use language for communication, to retain information, make rational decisions, and solve problems effectively. Koch, Becker, Spinath, and Greif in 2021 also narrated that intelligence is definitely an important construct in psychological and educational research, which predicts various outcomes associated with performance in workplace, educational context, and in other essential settings. Now we are going to learn about historical background of intelligence. In 1955, Sir Cyril Burt credited Plato and Aristotle as originators of the concept of intelligence, and Cicero with coinage of the term intelligence. The usage and development of tests to assess intelligence and applied statistics to interpret the data was introduced by Sir Francis Galton and Alfred Binet, who further explored the concept of intelligence with the construction of intelligence tests for addressing and tackling socio-educational problems. Galton started work on intelligence in laboratory setting and operationalized it in terms of reaction time, and his theory of heritability of intelligence paved the way for researchers to explore the concept further. Other prominent personality like Binet, who is regarded as grandfather of intelligence tests, operationalized intelligence in a broad domain as shown by the wide variety of tasks that were used to assess general intelligence. In 1916, Binet defined intelligence as a general intellectual capacity to reason well with abstract materials, to comprehend well, to have clear direction of thoughts, to relate thinking with attainment of desirable goals, and to be self-critical. Thorndike in 1920 conceptualized intelligence as combination of three components: concrete intelligence, abstract intelligence, and social intelligence. Concrete intelligence is the ability to comprehend actual situations and respond to that situation adequately, and this type of intelligence deals with everyday activities, whereas abstract intelligence is the ability to respond to words, numbers, and symbols. Social intelligence, it's individual's ability to respond to social situations of everyday life. Other psychologist Charles Spearman in 1927 proposed a two-factor theory of intelligence and divided intelligence into general intelligence and specific intelligence, and argued that all the activities and performances are an outcome of factor of general intelligence as well as a factor of specific intelligence. Apart from this, Spearman also developed statistical approach to define and measure intelligence with testing, factoring, and correlation of the dimensions and components of tests. Spearman in 1923 proposed a process theory of intelligence in which he mentioned that intelligence possesses three processes such as solving analogies to understand the problem, interrelationships, and applying relationships. Whereas American psychologist Louis Thurston in 1938, he was the first person to define intelligence in terms of combination of groups of traits or factors and labeled these group factors as primary mental abilities, which includes number factor, verbal factor, space factor, spatial relationships, word fluency factor, reasoning factor, rote memory factor, and perceptual speed. Thurston in 1938 argued that Spearman had oversimplified the concept of intelligence. According to him, intelligence is not an expression of the general factor as postulated by Spearman. Rather, it is a combination of groups of traits or factors. Other psychologist, David Wessler, in 1939 was highly influenced by Binet's work and also supports the notion that intelligence tests assess child's general intelligence. Wessler in 1944 defined intelligence as the aggregate or global capacity of the individual to act purposefully, to think rationally, and to deal effectively with his environment. Wessler viewed intelligence as an effect rather than a cause, and asserted that non-intellective factors such as personality contribute to the development of each person's intelligence. Gilham in 1975, he also supported Wessler's notion of general intelligence. Besides, some theorists also define intelligence in terms of ability to learn, as in case of Piaget, 1950. Jean Piaget in 1950, he defined intelligence on the basis of assimilation and accommodation, which together determines a person's ability to learn. Cattell in 1966 was other promising psychologist in the field of intelligence who proposed fluid and crystallized theory of intelligence, where the fluid intelligence represents abilities which allow the person to think, reason, and acquire new knowledge. And crystallized intelligence, on the other hand, it includes knowledge and understanding that the person has acquired through experiences. Fluid intelligence, it is a basic capacity due to genetic potentiality, and crystallized intelligence is influenced by experiences, learning, and environment. Arthur Jensen in 1968 also contributed to the conceptual development of intelligence and explored social class difference in the context of intelligence and proposed a hierarchical model of intelligence consisting of abilities operating at two levels. Level first, intelligence involves associative abilities, which are measured by tasks involving rote learning and memorization. This type of intelligence might include factors like verbal association memory for temporal sequences, spatial positions, and stimulus response learning, etc. On the other hand, level 2 is abstract intelligence known as cognitive competences. It includes factors like concept learning, thinking, problem solving skills, multiple discrimination, and principle learning, etc. Guilford in 1967 also suggested that intelligence consists of 4 contents, 5 operations, and 6 products. He defined operations as a kind of cognitive processing which involves cognition, memory, recording, divergent production, evaluation, and convergent production. Content has been defined as the type of information that is processed or material on which operations are performed, and it consists of visual, auditory, symbolic, semantic, and behavioral components. Products have been referred to as the result of performing operations on contents and are classified into units, classes, relations, systems, transformation, and implication. In 1987, other category of researchers like Hebb in 1949, Vernon 1972, and Eysenck in 1983 associated intelligence with physiological, biological qualities or makeup, and believed that intelligence is largely affected and influenced by genetic factors. In addition, Cattell, Hendrickson, Berger Jensen, Sternberg, and Vernon conducted studies to identify correlation of neurological phenomenon with IQ, cited in Heiser and Francis 2000. Whereas Cam in 1974 opposed the physiological school of thought and believed that intelligence is not inherited. Psychologist Howard Gardner in 1970 and 1980 also contributed rich literature to the field of intelligence and proposed multi-dimensional concept of intelligence and revealed that humans contains 8 types of autonomous intelligence, and on the basis of these type of intelligence, individuals draw inferences, create products, and solve problems of the societies in which they live. Davis, Christodoulou, Sider, and Gardner, 2011. The 8 types of intelligence are defined as linguistic intelligence, logical mathematical intelligence, spatial intelligence, musical intelligence, bodily or kinesthetic intelligence, naturalistic intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, and intrapersonal intelligence. Researchers like Horn et al. In 1988, Fontana 1988, Bigge in 1976, and Sternberg in 1999 conceptualized intelligence in terms of ability and individual's ability to see relationships, to solve problems, to select shape and adapt to environmental context by understanding and or forecasting the outcomes and consequences of taker actions. While other category of psychologists such as Bigge, Miles in 1957, Eysenck in 1978, Eysenck and Kamen in 1981, they replaced the term intelligence with intelligent behavior and linked it with behavior, personal quality and personality characteristics, and suggested that inferences about intelligence could be drawn from behavior. Hovey in 1990 related intelligence with quality, the quality to learn from past experience, the quality to possess exceptional memory and abstract representation of experiences, which form grounds to gain new experiences through proper association. Gilham in 1975, he argued that intelligence acts as causal factor for behavior, and in that term was associated it with kind of capacity or mental power. Another, Snow and Guilford in 1982, they mentioned that intelligence can be broken down either into individual constructs or into specific factors. Sternberg, in collaboration with Neisser in 1979 and Ditterman in 1986, they provided framework of intelligence and suggested that intelligence includes mental abilities which are essential for adaptation, shaping as well as selection of an environment effectively, and therefore intelligence is not merely reactive and responsive to the environmental context. Rather, it plays active role in developing and forming it. Thus, it is pertinent to mention here that the main components of intelligence as per the Sternberg's definition of intelligence are higher abilities. That's abstract reasoning, problem solving, ability to learn, ability to meet demands and challenges of the environment efficiently, abilities and skills valued by one's culture, and abilities to execute activities effectively. According to Sternberg, behavior characterized as intelligent may vary from one situation to other, but mental processes and activities underlying such as behavior do not. In other terms, intelligent behavior may differ from one environment to other, such that one behavior may be viewed as intelligent in one culture, and in other culture, same behavior may be perceived as unintelligent. Moreover, as per Sternberg in 1997, intelligence performs two important functions: external correspondence and internal coherence. And highly intelligent individual possesses higher degree of external correspondence to the world and internal coherence in the belief system and knowledge base, whereas non-intelligent fails to achieve external correspondence or internal coherence. Sissy, 1990 and 1996, they suggested that intelligence not only involves knowledge acquirement, but it addresses relationship between concepts and ideas. Whereas Das Naglieri, and Kirby in 1994 put forwarded cognitive processing theory, in which they redefined intelligence in terms of 4 cognitive processes: planning, attention, simultaneous and successive, PASS. And these processes make a complex and interdependent system, which further enable us to comprehend the nature of individual differences and provide us conceptual framework from assessment. Apart from this, Das et al. In 1997, on the basis of cognitive processing theory, proposed cognitive assessment system, which is also a significant contribution to diagnostic and clinical practice and setting. Important definitions of intelligence given by prominent psychologists and notable researchers include: intelligence means a biopsychological potential to process information that can be activated in a cultural setting to resolve problems or to create products that are valued in a culture. Gardner, 2000, cited in Marinus. Intelligence is the ability to undertake activities that involves difficulty, complexity, abstractness, economy, adaptiveness to goals, social value, and finally the emergency of originals, and to maintain such activities under conditions that demand a concentration of energy and resistance to emotional forces. Stoddard in 1943, cited in Hamid, John and Shah, 2017. Intelligence is the ability of an individual that helps him in adjustment or adaptation to the total environment, or the capacity to reorganize one's behavior patterns so as to act more effectively and more appropriately in new situations. It represents the ability to learn and carry out abstract thinking, and involves the utilization of concepts and symbols and solving problems. Freeman. Intelligence is whatever the intelligence test measures, cited in Hamid, Jan and Shah, 2017. Boring's definition highlights that when we administer an intelligence test, we implicitly accept intelligence, whatever the test measures or assess. Intelligence is the ability to derive information, to learn from one's experience, adapt to the environment, to understand and correctly apply thought and logic or reason. American Psychological Association. Intelligence measures an agent's ability to achieve goals in a wide range of environments. Legg and Hutler in 2006. Intelligence is the ability for an information processing system to adapt to its environment with insufficient knowledge and resources. Wang in 1995. Intelligence means getting better over the period of time. Shank. An empirical definition of intelligence represents doing well at a broad range of tasks. Mason, Christensen, and Apocher in 2002. Intelligence represents higher level abilities such as abstract reasoning, mental representation, problem solving, and decision making, the ability to learn, emotional knowledge, creativity, and adaptation to meet the demands of the environment effectively. Intelligence implies thinking skills and the ability to adapt and to learn from experiences, to adjust, to think, to understand, to reason, to act in the best possible manner. Now we are going to talk about nature and characteristics of intelligence. As per Racing 2005, intelligence construct is a dynamic phenomenon, not a static entity. Human intelligence comprises many independent and autonomous components and subparts. Intelligence accounts from individual differences in behavior. Intelligence enables individuals to respond flexibly to challenging and demanding situations. Intelligence is an innate trait, means it has heritable potential and is significantly influenced by environmental factors as well. Intelligence is an innate natural phenomenon that may help the child to learn effectively and efficiently. Intelligence facilitates individuals to utilize abstract thinking and reasoning and solve complex problems. Intelligence enables students to learn efficiently in minimum period of time and retain information over a longer period of time. Intelligence makes possible for the students to focus to the future and plan accordingly. Intelligence helps individuals to adapt and adjust with his total environment in a best possible manner. Intelligence promotes person's ability to learn and to take advantage of his previous experiences and adapt to novel situations accordingly. Intelligence assists individuals to take good and productive decisions and to apply reasoning. The developmental period of intelligence is from birth to adolescence. There are individual differences in intelligence with respect to demographics like gender, like variations in physical appearance. People do not possess same type and amount of intelligence in solving all problems. Family systems have significant impact on cognitive development related to intelligence. Culture of an individual plays defining role in intelligent behavior and influences cognitive growth. Human intelligence develops through the construction of person thinking processes and knowledge schemas. Neurological functions play essential role in difference on the tests of intelligence. Thus, the nature of intelligence involves the ability of an individual to adapt and adjust with the environment, capability to pursue relationship among various objects and events, potential to think and plan independently, capacity to learn effectively and successfully, and the skill to benefit from one's own experience to solve problems in a novel fashion. Thank you, students. Hope you have understood all the content that was demonstrated by me today. Thank you once again.